Listen, I did warn people of this, and I don't mean to be prescient, but sometimes I actually do get it right. I know it's a bit of a shock. Everybody is amazed, but there you go. But I did warn that when the Waitangi Tribunal was set up and given all the powers that it is, that it would turn into a sort of quasi Supreme Court for New Zealand. Not a real Supreme Court in the sense that it could strike down legislation as the US Supreme Court can, but a sort of de facto moral Supreme Court. And so the Waitangi Tribunal has transpired into. It's now turned into essentially not so much a shield as it was originally designed to, but as a sword. And it is utilised essentially to strike down anything that's considered by Maori activists in particular, many of whom work for the Waitangi Tribunal, as being anything that's considered anti-Maori by nature. Well, cue the next one. Listen, just after we thought we got rid of the madness and that there were new people being appointed to the Waitangi Tribunal, and we might see some common sense, the Waitangi Tribunal have agreed, and agreed or egregious, agreed is the word, to a day-long hearing in Wellington to hear another Eru Kapa Kingi. He's the chap that led the Hikoi, the Auckland University lecturer. We'll come to that in another time. And Maori Party activist who has put you will not believe this, a claim to the Waitangi Tribunal to have the the bill of the ACT Party, the Regulatory Standards Bill, essentially declared as anti-Maori and against the interests and principles of the Treaty of Waitangi. Now, okay. This is even more remarkable because not only is it seeking to strike down legislation, but it's legislation that hasn't even been drafted yet. There is no bill. There is a consultation document out there, but no bill has actually even been introduced into Parliament. There's no draft that's even been written yet of the Regulatory Standards Bill, the brainchild of ACT Party leader David Seymour, in an attempt to remove all the fussing around, farting around, and featherbedding of the public sector when it comes to doing its job, the Regulatory Standards Bill. It's got a little bit more of an aegis than that, but that's its intent. It's essentially to try and make government more effective and efficient. All right, that's its job. Well, here's the most amazing thing. Eru Kapa Kingi, and it has to be said, the Waitangi Tribunal have decided that it's worth hearing their claim that it should be struck down before it even leaves David Seymour's bailiwick, his office, his parliamentary or cabinet office. It's an extraordinary issue, but the Waitangi Tribunal now will have that hearing. And the amount of taxpayers' money that will go into that hearing for no effect. It's an agreement between the National Party and ACT as part of the coalition agreement that this bill be introduced. It has, as I understand, coalition support. It is aimed to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the public sector and of the lawmaking process in general. But here we have another shibboleth, another chimera, another illusion being promoted by Maori activists, by Auckland academic and Auckland Maori activist Eru Kapa Kingi in particular, and the Waitangi Tribunal are taking it serious enough to accord it a hearing with all of the costs, the lawyers, the drama, and the media coverage that attends such things. Listen, this madness must stop. And the only way that you can stop this madness is not stopping the Eru Kapa Kingis of this world. They're mad anyhow. You can't make mad people unmad. So he can go off and roam in his own little surreal world, sadly aided and abetted by the New Zealand taxpayer in Auckland University. No. We've got to get rid of the tribunal. It was set up originally for one purpose and one purpose only, and that was to try and redress grievances of the past, where there was demonstrable and obvious discrimination against Maori folk or where the government of the day had acted in such a cavalier and unconstitutional way, had been so inequitable and unfair that compensation was due. Well, all of those land claims have been settled or are in negotiation phase after having been heard by the Waitangi Tribunal. It has done its job. Now, let's get rid of it. Let it go. End the tribunal, end the legislation that it's responsible for, return democracy to where it really rests and belongs, which is Parliament, with its disproportionately high number of Maori descent members of Parliament, and then just move on. But yet again, this is one of those almost theatric but incredibly costly and divisive hearings against a bill that doesn't exist and a concept and idea that is being actively misrepresented as another attempt to keep Maori down and make them second-class citizens, a kind of indentured slave trade being promoted by this legislation is the myth that is being perpetuated and now assented to by the Waitangi Tribunal. We've got to get rid of it, people. This is just killing us. Those are my thoughts this morning. What are yours?